Whoa, it's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. It's Saturday night live, yo. Here we are, man, from the command center. We are at the command center on this this fine Saturday night. I don't know what to make any of it, dude. I don't know. We're just doing a free fire zone, dude. Whatever we got. I'm not sure. Let's see, dude. What's going on with PMI, Dan Z, chilling watching Dead and Co in San Fran, Alex Miller, Panic 11, dude. How is everyone doing out there? How's everyone doing on this Saturday night? It's a trippy world, man. It is a trippy world. Yeah, I don't even know, dude. I'm gonna let you lead me, dude. Cleaning the bathroom before my trip. There you go. That's a good thing. You always want to come back home to a nice clean bathroom. Solid move, dude. Carusta. I don't know. I had a friend of mine come by this morning, hang out, drink a little cup of coffee. Some coffee this morning, dude. Not a visitor, dude. You know, we don't have many visitors up here, so it was nice. Had a fellow like-minded Canada, dude. All right. Good for you. And what's going on up in Canada? It's the time of year to be up in Canada. I don't know. What's it? So what's it? So Friday we went out into the we did our family outing Thursday, dude. We went up to Big Meadow, did some hiking around, hung out in the trees, and the Alex Miller's lived in Canada all his life, dude. Our Canadian brothers and sisters. And that was super nice, dude. It's good. We're getting in that retreat on Salt Spring and hike Mount Baker at the top of Washington. Next level. There you go. Good for you. Good for you, Mount Baker, dude. Nice. Next level. Yeah, it's nice getting on top of a mountain. Yeah, we've been going out into the nature a bunch. It's been super nice. It's been a good vibe on that level of getting into actually like leaving the property and going up into the mountains. I will say that is one of the interesting things with like where we live and what we're doing. It's you're like out in it and then you forget to go out and do it, or you just don't find the time to go out into it. So we're making a soup. We've been very consistent on the Thursday family outing, and then Al and I went skateboarding on. Owl actually hit me up and was like, let's go skateboarding. So we went skateboarding. He's made some big improvements riding his skateboard, so he's super fired up on it, which is pretty cool, man. It's neat to see him flourishing on his own terms now. And that was on Friday. It's interesting. It's the blur of then the garden's kicking in, man. The garden is kick. I had a little bit of mouse infestate, so I got some little critters in there infiltrated, dude. But I did pretty good. I think I got most of them, but I think I found the hole where they were coming in, and that is That is very yeah, so the mountains don't care, dude. I was having a talk with my friend this morning about that, dude. It's oops, I better plug in the device here. Swing, dude. Can you train me to be as chill as you, dude? I don't know, man. One man's chill is another person's unchill, dude. I don't know if chill describes what I do. I don't know if it's very chill, man. But yeah, good day from the land down under, bunyips. No, yeah, one man's chill is another man's unchill, dude. But I don't think chilling's the answer, dude. I'm not a chiller on any level, dude. That would be contradictory to actually what I'm I gotta stop wearing these t-shirts, man. They don't fit very well anymore. They're all stretched out. I got to make a conscious effort not to wear the t-shirts anymore, dude. I did on my last video, but we're here now. But it's an interesting thing. So I was talking to my friend about the mountains don't care thing this morning, and it's very I think that I was talking to him about like running into the fact that I got someone the end of the world's coming, dude. I got my buddy texting me right now. It's the end of the world, dude. It's today. It's today, dude. No. So anyway, the garden's coming alive. I was funny how my friend over we were talking about. It really did dawn on me that I am 2 months behind schedule. Because life got super busy in May and June. So it's just now kind of kicking in and rounding the corner where everything's like really going into grow mode. And I'm sort of excited about it. And then I was all of a sudden, so I was sitting out in the garden the other day, and I was like thinking, I was doing my little seed starts, and I was reading the package of it, and it was like, like 100 days till whatever. And I was like, whoa, dude, summer's almost over. Like summer's almost over, man. Before you know it, dude, it's almost summer's almost over. It's pretty funny, like how that works, dude. Nah, Jordan doesn't lizard, man. No, it's my buddy. My buddy keeps tabs on some of the stuff. But yeah, it's fascinating just how warbly time space really is when you think about it. So what are we getting into on this Saturday night? What should we get fired up about, dude? Fake nuclear. Oh wait, dude. Someone just texted me fake nuclear war theater. What is my buddy? War in Europe is coming. George Galloway for UK. It will go nuclear, and they will show. Oh, dude, everyone's they're sending busloads of military edge to New York and Spain as well. What is it? Police are protecting Britannia. All right, we got breaking news. I don't know. My buddy's sending me things. The police are protecting the Britannia International Hotel at Canary Wharf, which is a four-hotel in London. There are protesters waving Union Jack flags outside. I think England's been conquered, hasn't it? Isn't Britain conquered? Yeah. It's who is Nick Fuentes, the leader of the Groypers? I like the Groypers, dude. They always I get a kick out of Nick Fuentes, dude. He can string together a pretty good rant, dude. I always appreciate people who can put together a pretty good rant about stuff, dude. I don't really get in. He's a little off the deep end for me, but he's a little harsh. Like he does go deep in the paint in the harshness of his rants, but it's all fake, dude. It's all so fake. It's fake as a lake. It's a fake cake lake. Yeah, no, I was that's what I was talking to my buddy about this morning is the fakeness of it all, and just how the people like we were talking about, because he's a sober bro of mine. We were talking about this weird broken down nature of people right now. So people are like have this weird, I don't think it's new, but there's like an extra level of resistance like right now. Like people are super like resisting the need to change, right? Like the need to change. Like I this is the interesting, I think I can only speak from my own personal experience, is the one gift I truly have been given is the understanding that I need to change. And I constantly need to be changing and updating my system and updating who I am and changing my perception of the information am receiving based upon new information I'm receiving, and being allowed to adapt and modify my perception of the world. And then when that perception changes, to reinvent myself on the fly. So I know people in my life. So what, I'm 56 years old, born in 1969. I have, at this stage of the game, lived many different lives in this one lifetime. But I know people that have never really changed, like never really like modified their reality on any level. And it fascinates me, because I would think that now is one of the most critical times to change, whatever it is. And like, so, and I mean this sort of as a blanket statement on the micro as well as the macro, is, from what I can tell, everybody needs to change, me included. Like because whatever's going on isn't really working, though it is working. I think those of us who change, like, it works better for us because we're willing to change. And I was talking to my friend this morning about this, and it seems like there's this weird level of resistance, and I've really bumped into it pretty heavily in the last month, dealing with different people and different things, and trying to help people and help people, like, and people are just like, no, I don't do that. And it's the basic thing is like, I just don't change. I'm not going to change. It's just the way I am. And I think about that is as a person who's pretty stubborn myself, that is the one place where I've allowed myself to that's truly served me the best in my life, is my ability to change. Like, I remember, so when and this is a prime example. So I got into the carpentry game, as a tradesman pretty late into life. You know, I'm 56 now. I got sober at 40. So I must have been early to mid 30, let's say mid 30s when I start getting on a job crew and I'm working with the boys and stuff, right? And using skill saws and, you know, actually framing things and doing carpentry. Remember, prior to this point, prior to like, let's say at the age of 30, I really know nothing about carpentry. I don't really know anything about like skill saws and table saws and chop saws. I don't really know much about woodworking or you know, I'm capable, but I don't have any like knowledge, so to speak. And then at some time between 30 and 40, like I end up getting involved by necessity with that dude who like, so my whole story, I think we'll talk about this. So my whole story into carpentry is this. I was sitting at a bar one day back in my drinking era. I was sitting in the Doom Room in Malibu. And I was drinking with this dude, and he was like my brother. This guy, I forget his name. I think his name was Don. This guy I used to drink with. He was cool. He was one of those odd dudes who always had odd jobs going on. And he's like, "Hey, my brother needs someone to help him paint." No. This is what it is. He's like, "I need some help painting a house." And I was like, "I don't really paint." And he's like, "Whatever, I just need some help." And I was like, "Oh, I needed the money." So I showed up with this dude that I drank with at the bar, and I went and was painting this house with him. His brother showed up the third day of painting this house and was like, "Hey, can I take your dude this weekend to help me do this job," which was rebuilding the sound studio for this music producer who produced Carlos Santana and all these dudes, right? This guy. And it's interesting because they were all Baha'i faith. They were all members of the Baha'i faith. And he's like, yeah. So this dude, the brother grabs me a hold and he's like, he starts me like he's like the first dude I worked for in the world of carpentry. And he literally, he was a lefty. So all his his skill saw was a left-handed skill saw. And I started with this dude. And then I worked for another, but I just remember just being a total like noob at the thing, right? Like clueless, but that was when I was doing a lot of Oxycontins and stuff like that. So I was just, I was just faking it, dude, whatever, man. And, I ended up working for a friend of mine and the boys, dude. Like I went from there to working. My one buddy hooked me up with all of our friends who were like real carpenters and stuff. This other dude was a real carpenter, but anyway, real carpenter. And so I started working, but again, I didn't really know I just was doing what I needed to do, but I had a knack for it, right? Turns out I had a knack for it. So I remember I get with this super, like one of the best framers in Southern California. And he's a friend of a friend type of deal. I end up getting on this dude's crew and I'm working with this young dude. So I'm 35. I'm working with this young dude who's like 24, hot shot framer, dude, like one of those dudes who started like 16 and just did really good at what he does. But he's 20 years, 15 years. He's what, I'm 30, mid 30s. He's like 15 years younger than me, right? And in the demographic of the boys and the whole thing, like I'm his like elder in our social circle, but on the job site, I'm the rookie, dude. And I ended up the boss put me with this dude to work with him. He was the dude who knew the thing. I worked with him. And I remember we'd been working together for like a month, dude. And we were working and he's like, "You know what I really like about you, dude, is you actually like listen to me and don't push back." And I was like, "Yeah," I go, "'cause I don't know anything and you do." But what I'm saying is, according to the hierarchy of human and social construct, I could have been a douchebag and been like, I'm not going to listen to this kid. But I knew I didn't know, and I knew he did know. And what I'm getting at is because I was willing to be the new guy, the guy who didn't know anything, and I didn't have any shame in acknowledging that, which meant I would like make mistakes and get into trouble. And like this younger dude would roust me and be like, dude, like you blew it. And you know what I mean? Like, and I would take it. I wouldn't be like, you can't talk to you. You know, I didn't have any of that. I don't have that weird level of like insecurity. And it's insecurity. It's not pride. It's insecurity. Like I know when someone's better at something than me. So I guess what I'm getting at is like, that was a critical, like, cause I was building stuff with my power tools. I got a whole like garage full of power tools and planers and stuff. And I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, there was a time in my life I didn't know what any of this stuff did, dude. And here I am. I'm sitting there like, and I got tools and I'm making things, and I figured out my way to like make things happen, because I will never be a craftsman. I will always be a wood butcher, but I've learned how to butcher wood efficiently enough to like make things happen, right? And so what I'm getting at is, at that stage in my life, at 30 something, let's say 35, I was willing to acknowledge I didn't know anything, and willing to learn from a dude 15 years younger than me, and take, in a job site, it's rough, dude, and take it, because I was willing to adapt. And so when I think, and so the same thing happened when I moved the ball forward, 5 years later, I'm getting sober, and the sober is the same thing. Like, I'm like, I don't know anything. I'm the new guy, right? I adapt. I listen to the elders, and some of them were younger than me. Like some of the people that I was seeking advice from were younger than me, and had a lot more time than, and the thing that I think that has served me the best in my life is the willingness to allow people with superior knowledge to be my teacher, in spite of the social hierarchy of things. And so I've been bumping into a lot of people that are like, help me with my life. And I'm like, well, you need to do this. And they're like, nah, I don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, but how do you know if you haven't tried? Because I could have said, because I guess what I'm saying is, when I bumped into that dude, when that dude came in and was like, hey, I need to take this dude with me to this job, I could have been like, I don't do that. Like, I don't do that. I don't do that. But I didn't. I was like, I need to do this to get to the next place. So I was like, okay. And it turned out to be, I guess what I'm trying to say is when I'm 30 years old, I have no idea that I'm pretty good at something that can sustain my life, pay the bills, provide me with economic security. I have no idea that I have this skill set until I'm like 36. And I remember at a certain point in that journey of like, dude, I remember like when I finally got on some job, when I was pretty competent working with this framer dude, and we were building some crazy ass houses for super rich people. I remember building this crazy teardrop window in this house for Dick Van Dyke. Or no, it wasn't Dick Van Dyke. It was one of the game show guys, dude, who's dead now. But anyway, I was building this beach house with them, and I remember building this crazy intricate thing. And my boss was like, here, just go build that shit, dude. He could fully trust me because I had a knack for it. Like, I had a knack for like the carpentry gig, but I never would have discovered it if I hadn't been willing to be like, I don't do that. So if I had said I don't do that, I would have never found out that I'm a skilled dude that can work in the carpentry world. In fact, to the point where I'm more of a finished carpenter than a framer, dude. Like, I do like Like I remember cutting on this. I remember doing finished carpentry for this dude where like the piece of wood I was doing this door with was a $10,000 slab of some sort of crazy wood. I was making this door. And I remember I fucked up too, dude. And I had to like fix it. And I did. I pulled it off, man. But what I'm getting at is the one thing I've learned over my life is I don't know what I'm good at. I don't really, and the beauty of it is I've been willing to take the chance and adapt and change and learn new knowledge. And I don't know what I'm going on about. Oh, I'm going on about the fact I keep bumping into people that are like, I don't change. This is the way I am. And I'm like, but is that working for you? And like you don't seem like happy, or your life doesn't seem to be going in a positive direction. It's not really doesn't seem to be working out. So I go, well, what do you have to lose? Like I don't know. There's this weird thing I've noticed, and I think this is part of the American problem too. Like I can only speak for America, is everybody's like afraid to like take change, because we don't do that. I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a label. And it goes back to this thing I was talking about a couple podcasts ago, or about the labels of everybody needing to be their label. And I think in the thing, that's the thing we need to change, is to us pigeonhole ourselves into these weird constructs that don't serve us, and where we're truly like, because I could have said the same thing about, at 45 years old, I found out I'm a dad. Like, oh, you're going to be a dad. I wasn't like, I don't do that. I don't know how to do it. I was like, at that point in my life, I'm like, okay, that's just like a new challenge, dude. Okay, I'll be a dad. I don't know what to do. It was like when I did hospice with my dad and walked him through his death. Like I didn't know what to do. I just knew I could. I just was like, you just apply the model of like doing things, like handling your business, dude. So I've been noticing this weird thing, and I think that's why you bump into all, like, there's all these people just like laying on the streets of America on these drugs and stuff, is because they're all like, I don't do that. Like, and I don't mean like getting loaded and laying on the street and pooping their pants. I mean, they all had a moment where it was like, I'm not going to do any of the stuff that could actually benefit me. Like, I don't do that. Like, I was talking to this dude the other day, and I was like, go over to where there's jobs, which is like, and he's like, I don't do physical like work. And I'm like, yeah, but why not? Like, maybe it'll work. Maybe that's what we need to do. And it's this weird counterintuitive thing of because like I was talking to my friend this morning, and I was like, at 50, well, I'm 56 now, at 52 years of age, I decided to like do this homesteading, trying to do this thing up here in the country. It's completely changed my life, dude. And I didn't know anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just applied the same skills I did with everything else. It's like, all right, like, be willing to accept knowledge from those who have knowledge. And there's this weird, and I think that's why we're stuck as a society right now, is we're not willing to change. Like, and I mean like the general, like it's funny, like everybody, we still talk about, like, it's like the weird thing with just even perceiving what it is that's going on. Like, all right, to even go back to where the thing with that, like, it's even the thing of like like what if there are no nuclear weapons and it's all been a scam? Like, and people won't even explore that thought. And I'm like, why wouldn't you explore that thought? It's like the flat earthers or the globes. Like I fully went and explored the flat earth thought. My conclusion is I don't know. I fucking don't have any idea. Like I guess that's what weird. I was talking with my wife about this last night too. Is like I'm willing to like go like check things out. Like I don't have a weird need not to do stuff. Like I'm like, yeah, I'll go check that out. Like I'll go it's like music. I'll go check out anyone, dude. See if I don't like it. Like people are really weird. Like I've noticed that in the sense of and then they wonder why they're like kind of stuck. It's like, well, maybe that's not maybe what you're into is not what you're into. Did you know that? Like maybe like you need to change everything you're doing to see if you're actually maybe better suited for something else. I mean, this is like standard Siddhartha and the whole thing, the prodigal son and all these kind of things is, the Alchemist, all these books are all about this is like, go and maybe if whatever you're doing isn't working for you, maybe try something new. And it's sort of like, I think that like on the American issue too, is like, it just doesn't seem to be working. Like it really isn't working. So maybe we need to try something new. And the interesting thing is like, I'll say it right now. We've been living in a somewhat socialist society for most of my adult life. It's corporate socialism, dude. But it's very interesting. So maybe we should try to give the free market economy a try, dude. Maybe we should give that a try, dude. I don't know. I have these thoughts when I'm out in the garden, man. I was thinking about how we live in this weird form of like socialism right now. And it's the exact like, so when we like, I think when people think of like socialism, communism, we have sort of a Stalinist or Pol Pot or some sort of like weird dictator, people working a lot, like kind of slave labory, sort of like everybody in the factory, dude, working. And we have the exact opposite. We have a fully like, we're already in it. It's just about people doing nothing. It's like that's why I think people are like, can't really wrap their head around it. We have a do nothing socialism. And I think everybody's like ready for like sort of a gulag socialism, or everybody's at the factory socialism. But no, it's just do nothing socialism. And the kids are, and it's very weird. I think I've really begin to realize, and the people that I've realized are the biggest sort of participants in this are the conservatives. So, and what do you mean by this? Like, what do you mean by that? So there's this thing, and people aren't paying attention to this, is due to the conservatives' weird bend on it. They're not paying attention to all the data processing centers that are going to use up all the electricity that are being built in conservative zones, because they're all about having lack of like government oversight. I was watching something about these towns out in Texas, right? And they're all like magatarded, and they built this giant missing. I don't have my glasses. Who we got there? Thank you. Missing remote. Thank you. They built this like data processing center, right? And it hums 24/7, and it's like right in the middle of this like somewhat small town community out in the middle of Texas, and it hums all day, and the people are going crazy because there's just this constant like low frequency noise going on. But so they started getting into this thing, and why, and the whole thing, and the Orange Man mentioned all this, if you were paying attention to him, about the data processing centers and all the AI, it's all about, it's not even AI, it's all the crypto mining operations and all the data processing centers for Palantir and all this stuff. Like, no one's paying attention to that. So this one data processing center alone was using as much power as the entire city of Austin, Texas. Like this one data processing center was using all this power. And they were talking about how, because it's like unregulated and there's no oversight, that these things have popped up in these unincorporated parts of rural Texas, and they're draining the power. And yet, and because of the way it's all stacked out, like, everybody's rates are going to go up. It's this inverted, it's like inverted corporate socialism, dude, based upon apathetic people sitting around doing nothing. It's very trippy. And you can check out this. They got the same thing going on in Phoenix right now, where they're building all these data processing centers, and the processing centers are sucking up all the power, and all and the way it works is because it's the consumers are last, and the consumers have to pay for all the infrastructure. It's this wacky corporate welfare thing that's going on. But then you get into how much water all these things use, because they need water to keep the things cool, and they never turn off, and they're running 24/7, and they don't really like employ anybody. They're just these noise-making machines out in the middle of these rural communities, dude. And yeah, I just again, I don't know what I'm really getting at. I just think that like, because people didn't want to change, they got completely duped. And now they're going to face the penalty for that. And the people that got completely duped were this, because they had all the tools. Like, I don't think that the lefties have been duped. The lefties are totally in on this, right? But they've been duped too, but like, it's in a different kind of duping. But the right actually could have put up a pushback by, if they were willing to perceive the fact about the monetary situation of our currency, if they had understood that what was being told. Like, that's the weird thing of, like, the inability to adapt due to, like, social constructs of like, no. And here we are, dude. Like, the whole reason everything's going to hell in a handbasket is because nobody wants to change. And I think about it, and I go, the reason I'm not even sweating it, because I was willing to change. Like, I was willing to uproot my family and move out here into wherever and do this sort of like hard lifestyle that is easier on one level, but nonstop on another level, and go through the growing, listen, like, it's, my wife is just now settling in to this thing. You know, Al adapted pretty quickly, but it was even rough for him. But just the whole, like, different lifestyle of this whole thing. And so, and I see the fear of what it is to change. And I used to think that the fear was based upon like I can't do it. No, the fear is based upon I can do it. And it's this thing. And I've been doing a lot of deep diving on this thought based a lot, because I've been trying, like I said, I've been trying to work with some people and get them around the corner. And I'm like, why don't they want to succeed? Like, why aren't they willing to do what's necessary to succeed? Why have they put themselves in a box that says, I don't do this, even though that's the path towards success? And I get to it, and it's sort of like, I can view it through the sober lens. Is like I think the hardest part for me, like, if I look at it, like, when I got sober, right? And I went through the thing and realized at 42 years of age that I'm the one who absolutely prevented myself from being successful. It wasn't anyone else. I used to think it was like the system and I don't know, those people or this or that or what. I used to have a bunch of like, it was anybody but me. And so when I got to be that age and I did all the work getting sober and the whole thing and took responsibility for my life, I was like, the hardest part was being like, oh boy, I burned up like 2 decades of my life not doing what it is. So what was it? Well, I wasn't going to join the system, right? I wasn't going to do that. I was going to be a free spirit. I was going to do it my way. Like I always think I've realized that like my form of pushback ultimately was status quo. In that sense of like, I was like, oh, I'm not going to actually like be successful. That's selling out. Like that's the machine. And it is like, no doubt about it. But when I was getting sober at like 42, doing all that work of taking responsibility for my life, doing the fourth and the fifth step and the whole thing, and realizing that it wasn't the fact that I could be successful like later in my like moving forward. It was the fact that I had deliberately sabotaged my own life for a long period of time. And it wasn't the machine. It wasn't the man keeping me down. It wasn't the government keeping me down. It wasn't the cops keeping me down. It wasn't the system keeping it down. It was me keeping myself down because I didn't want to change, because I thought I had, well, I don't know, righteous indignation or they're corrupt or whatever bullshit I used to tell myself. And then you have to own that, right? You have to go, oh, dude, like the only reason I'm not. And I remember kind of standing there at that weird point in my life. Like I still had nothing. Like I think like I just gotten the first Terra Cruiser. Like I still didn't have anything going on in my life. Like I was just making YouTube videos. Like the beginning of my YouTube career had started. And I was like, oh, like, and then that sort of blew up because I was willing again to change. I was willing to be like, okay, like I can go and do this. Like, sure. Like, not a big deal, man. And so getting back to like working with a lot of people, them going, no, I don't do that. I think about it. If I could have easily, I remember like if when David and Joe were like, we'll do anything to help you get sober if you're willing to do anything to get sober. I was willing to do anything to get sober. Like and I didn't know what that was. Like I think about that time. I go, that was it. Like I didn't go, no. I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, this is bitching, dude. Like you're going to go to meetings all and have these commitments and I didn't really see the big picture yet, but I was like, all right, fine. You want me to do that? Sure. Okay, fine. I wasn't like, oh my God, bitching, dude. Yeah. I was like, fuck. All right. Like, fuck, fine. I wasn't an easy candidate, but I was willing to do what they suggested because I wanted to change my life. I wanted out of where I was at. And so like when David and Joe were like, you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and we suggest you do this and we suggest you to do that, I wasn't like, I was like, oh, right on, dude. I was like, but I did it, dude. In spite of myself, I was willing to change, and I was willing to go on the journey of change. And I've been talking about that. Like I had to face a moment like 2 months ago where like everything was in flux, and I was like 56 years of life with a child and a wife. I might have to change everything again. I might have to start over again. And I was like, fine, like I'll start over again. Whatever, dude. And so, and what does that mean? Again, it goes back. So I was working with my buddy. We were remodeling this house way up in the mountains. Again, it was the boys and the whole thing. I think we were doing it for a friend of mine. And in order for us to keep working, the plumber needed to hook something up. And in order to do it, there needed to be a trench to run some pipes to link it all together in the yard. And the dude didn't show. And then it was my buddy. His employee didn't show. And we were sort of stuck. And it was like, well, either we're not going to be able to get to work until this gets done. And I just go, I'll do it, dude. And so it was, I was like, I'll do it. Fine. If this is what we need to do to get back to work, like, fine, I'll dig this stupid trench. I don't care, dude. And so, and it was through this like rock, and it was gnarly, dude. And I just remember going at it with this pick and digging this crazy ass trench, dude. And like halfway through it, man, my buddies, like, they were like, the dude I worked for, and then my plumber buddy was like, they were like tripping out. And I looked at, I was in the digging this thing, and I was just like, leave me alone, dude. Just like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm digging. I'm going to get this thing done today. And my buddies, they were standing there, and I go, I remember they were like, you're like, you can do that. Like, man, you can dig a bit, like digging a ditch is like a skill. They're like, you even dig ditches. And I go, and I remember in the trench, and my buddy still quotes me this day. So I go, the only thing I can't do is stop being gnarly. And I was dripping with sweat with this pick. And I was, the only thing I can't do is stop being gnarly. And that's sort of what it is. That's where, like, I look at like everything that's going on. Nobody really wants to change. So yeah, like the corporations and the military and the homeless and all this stuff's going to keep going on. Why? Is because nobody really wants to change. And I've been thinking a lot about like that's where we've hit this crazy wall, like as a society, like only those who are willing to change are going to make it. And I'm fine with that. I can get into the sort of the eugenics concept of that. And it is eugenics, just so you know. It's like this is a giant eugenics program going on full bore. I think everybody's sort of forgotten about the whole eugenics things going on because, and again, as I keep saying that, like the elite are telling you what they're up to. And they're also saying, hey, if you see the path forward, you will be infinitely valuable. So you're fine. And I guess why I would say again is, like, I keep trying to tell people, like, get a trade, like, go work with your hands, get something that you can do that requires learning and a skill set, whether it's a plumber, a welder, a mechanic, anything that involves the use of your monkey hands with your monkey mind with tools, you will be of infinite value moving forward. And I just keep bumping into, like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, no, like, seriously, like, it's all, like, we're at this point now where, like, the electronic grubbers, dude, that with their electronic grubbing system of just scumbaggery, they're going to do what they do. But for all of us Who do you think's going to build the factories to maintain all these things? Like that's all the people that have actual skills, dude. And so when I look at what's going on, I've never seen a greater time in our story as Americans to like actually pull it off, dude. Like I see nothing but like for those who see it, like a golden age is coming. And yes, the irony of as the golden age will be like very easily like noticeable between those who have chosen to not change, to not adapt. And no, it's happening right now. And then I was talking about the other day on one of these streams was the people laying in the streets, dude. Like, who are all the people laying in the streets? I was just, before I came on this thing, I just like some clip came up and it was this like super young, attractive, like pretty girl laying on Kensington Boulevard, like passed out, like somebody's daughter, dude. It fucked me up for a minute because I was like, that's somebody's kid. She was like unmarred at that point, dude. Like she was just, and there was just all the grubby people all around. And I was like, what is that, dude? Like, what is that? And I was like, oh, this has become acceptable in our society. Like the whole broken human thing is acceptable in our society. And why? Because that would be, and why is that acceptable is because we're not willing to change, because our institutions of bringing up our children and our family units and alcoholism. Look, man, like the more and more I realize it, like the number one thing, if you wanted to better the society, like for real, and I'm not like one to like get like you like I go, if you, the number one thing you want to do to like fix this thing is everybody to put the pills and the alcohol down and the weed, sober up. Like that would fix this country like almost overnight. Like if everybody, but we've tried that as a nation, dude. We've had constitutional amendments about this stuff. I'm just trying to say is like there's this weird lack of ability to look inward with it, and the conservative movement. Like I used to rant about it a couple years ago. Like, so the one thing the conservative movement organized was boycotting Bud Light. Like that's the hill the conservatives were willing to die on. And so I look at this thing and I go, okay, fine. Like people aren't willing to change. It's going to become super obvious. Like, and they're not going anywhere. There's the people laying in the street thing and all of that. That's not going anywhere. I can tell you for the rest of our lives, that's never going to change. This broken human thing, like that is baked into the thing now. Just like you look back, it's never going to be the 90s again, dude, where like it was the occasional like homeless dude who was part of the community. Like when I like grew up in Malibu and stuff, there was like a homeless guy who was part of the community. I remember there's a guy who played guitar. He was like, there was like 4 of them. There was like part of the community. Like they were our local like bums, dude. Like you had like local bums, dude. They were part of the community. Like someone was the bum. But this isn't that. Like the people laying on the street frying their brains in the sun on the drugs and the thing, they're not there might be anomalies that are savable, but it's not about that saving them, because they don't want to change, and they've taken medication that has forever altered their ability to change by design. It is a by design situation. Thank you, Floyd. And so what does that mean for the rest of us who have chosen to change? Is like, yeah, like the advice I can give you, if you want to know what to do, is put down the drugs and the alcohol, even recreationally. Like there's never been a better time to be of clear thought, clear thought, because if you can put down the drugs and the alcohol and the pills and all that stuff, then you can begin to contemplate the food issue, which is the next most important thing, is the food we're eating, which I'm telling you is it's a whole different struggle. But what I'm saying is, like, it's this thing, and people don't want to change. People don't want to, like, give up their, like, but wait a minute, like, I no, it's yeah, like, yeah, I go down to the brewery and, like, have a couple beers down at the brewery. No, like, the fallout from that is, like, I know it seems very abstractly far away, but it is part of the spectrum, from sitting at the brewery having a hamburger to laying in the street nodding out on Trank, dude, is the spectrum. Don't be part of the spectrum. That's what I mean. Is like if you really want to change, like, you got to pull out of some of these spectrums. It's like me with my son and the education system. We're just not in that spectrum. We're not in the education system. We're homeschoolers. Like, we're in our own universe about it, dude. We've opted out, dude. And we can say that about a lot of the healthcare issues and a lot of these issues. Like, we've opted out. We're not in the spectrum of it because we were willing to like change. We were willing to go against the convenience of the social construct of our society, man, and be like, all right, we'll be the outliers. Like, it's fine. And it's not something like I broadcast it on this signal because, like, whatever, that's what I do. But, like, I don't have bumper stickers on my car. Like we don't have bumper stickers on our car. We don't advertise that we're doing that. We're just going about our business. And I can see that now is the time to be fearless and to truly be willing to change. Because I'm telling you that the empire is collapsing. Regardless of what you think, change is coming, man. You better be ready to adapt and be ready to, and what I'm saying is to get, like, yourself in a place where you're willing to change. And it doesn't have to be like but if your thing's not working out, maybe that's the heads up, dude. If you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't have my glasses, dude. What do we got here? I'm an ape man, dude. Die of my cirrhosis, dude. Did the meat wagon burn in the fire? No, I got a meat wagon remodel, dude. The meat wagon got left on I gave it back to my shaper, and I got a new meat wagon. I don't think it's ever been it's not quite as good as the original meat wagon, but the original meat wagon was done. And I've kind of switched up my boards, dude. I'm doing the Stoker V machines. In fact, that's kind of where my thing is. I kind of switched up my boards entirely, dude. There you go, far out aliens. Exactly. Mental preparation is key. And I think the mental preparation that you need, that is to be embraced, is just the willingness to change and get yourself out of your situation. I know it's hard, dude. But anyway, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about today. It wasn't really like a ranty sort of thing, but it's sort of a calm vibe, dude, if you know what I mean. I'm changing. I'm working on changing some things up, but slowly but surely. Anyway, this is the Illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. I was gonna say, dude, my Etsy store is down below, but man, I looked at it today, and I was like, dang, dude, I'm running a pretty sorry Etsy ship. Like, none of this stuff's listed there. Like, I got to reevaluate. But I gotta redo it all. Like that's the thing. Like, all right, like adapt and change. Like one of the things I don't want to do is like sit down and like redo my Etsy site. But I'm like, I gotta do it, dude. If I'm gonna slang stuff on Etsy, dude, I got all these rad mirrors, dude. I've been making all these like bitchin' mirrors, dude. Look at those, dude. Those are nice, dude. Oh, look at me. Look at, oh, wait. We're fractaling, dude, right there. But yeah, I'm doing I started doing it with I changed up my wood. I went to redwood. I looked for the redwood with the white, and then I got one. I'm just doing like just oil, like the waxing versus the this is shellac. I'm using new materials. And dude, even to the point where like I changed up my art, dude. I'm not doing cardboard anymore. I moved to watercolor paper, dude. And I'm getting back into the groove of that, dude. I got another piece coming, dude. And I went back, like that's part of like I think the updating of the change thing is you can go back and pick up your old things. The magnetic poles will definitely shift by 2050. Okay, like it's sure. Why not? Yeah. But if we make it that far, 2050, dude, how about just your mental, how about unpolarize your head on August 2nd, 2025? How about yeah, can I buy a ticket, dude? Let's make some t-shirts, dude. Should I stop doing everything? The poles are gonna shift in 25 years. I'm gonna stop. I've been hearing about like something's gonna like it's funny, and then I think about this. I've been hearing about something's gonna end the world in like 12 years for the last like 56 years, dude. Like my entire life. In 12 years, dude, in 20 years, and tomorrow. By the way, dude, the US is putting nuclear subs up against Russia, dude. Like it's just not. I'm trying to tell you is like the one thing that people. All right, if I could, besides the alcohol and the drugs and all that stuff, the one thing that if you took this out of your brain, would change everything too. Is doomsday, Armageddon, end of the world type stuff. Understand that has been one of the things they've foisted on the human consciousness to get you not to thrive. Is the poles are going to shift. There's going to be nuclear war. The commies are coming. I don't know that this is going to happen. The DDT is going to kill all the trees. The global warming, the weather change, the immigrants, the Muslims, the Zionists, the this, the that's, the those, the theys, it's just the thing I can tell you is nobody's getting a free pass. Nobody's getting a free pass on this thing, dude. Just so don't sweat pole shifts, nuclear warheads. 2112. What was the Mayan calendar, dude? Y2CK, whatever it was, dude. Listen, man. Just don't get drunk and flip your car off of your Porsche off the road like that dude from Bam Margera's crew, dude. Ryan Dunn. Don't pull a Ryan Dunn, dude. Like the odds are the thing that's going to take you out isn't the pole shift. It's going to be like doing something stupid, dude, because you were hammered. That's the end of the world. That most people should be sweating. It's just the drugs and the alcohol, dude. The Hawaii, the tsunami that was gonna get everybody, dude. Nothing, big fizzle. Yeah. Slow the Corolla down, dude. Slow the Corolla down. I'm all for speeding, dude. In fact, I have real issues with the speed limits. Yeah, no tsunamis, dude. There's no tsunami coming, dude. And if it does, just get to higher ground. All right, it's the Illusion signing off. We'll catch you guys on the next one.